And I want to start off with the song that I wrote this morning. I didn't write it this morning. I want to start off with the song that I wrote, this morning. Okay. It's called Love, Om, Dream, Peace. Please join us. What would Jesus say? Love, what would Buddha say? Om. Rumi says, see yourself in the mirror of me. Dr. King said, dream. Gandhi said, peace. The Tao says, you know the truth by looking inside. Inside. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. By looking inside. By looking inside. What would Jesus say? Love, what would Buddha say? Om. Rumi says, see yourself in the mirror of me. Dr. King said, dream. Gandhi said, peace. The Tao says, you know the truth by looking inside. Inside. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. Love on. Dream peace. By looking inside. By looking inside. By looking inside. By looking inside.
Thank you, Stephan. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you decided to join us today. When I got up this morning, it was 12 degrees. It was cold. So all of you here in the building, for those of you who went out, it is a beautiful sunny day here in the Pacific Northwest, but it is cold. We don't normally get here, for those of you online that are visiting from other places, we don't normally get that cold. And so it has been super cold the last couple of nights, but the promising thing is that it's going to be 9 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Woohoo! So I'm looking, my birds will like it. The hummingbirds are very unhappy. I had one fly into my face today as I was hanging up the hummingbird feeder. And so they're very happy to have it. I want to introduce our special guest. We have Stephan Plummer, and she's our musician today. Thank you for being here today. I am looking forward to all of the music that you have to offer today. I'm excited. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Reverend Lori Irwin Johnson, and I use the pronouns she and her. And you have tuned in to Unity of Tacoma. And if you've been here before, I'm so glad that you decided to come back, especially again if you're here in the building on this cold, cold morning. And for those of you online that decided to check us out, if you've never been here before, we're so glad that you decided to do so, because it's going to be a great day. We have a little bit of a different service. And if you came in and on your seats, you should have gotten a handout. And the handout is actually a image or a copy of the program that was for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom from August 28th, 1963, with Martin Luther King and his people. There are lots of other people on the program as well. But this is where the historic I Have a Dream speech happened. So I wanted to just kind of share this because we are focusing on two things today. We're focusing on Martin Luther King and establishing our own dreams and goals by doing the White Stone ceremony. So I'm kind of incorporating both of those today. So I look forward to that. So this is just kind of for your information to kind of see who was there and what was happening at the time and where he was in the program. And you can go down, way down at the bottom, and he is right towards the end. So there was a huge program that happened before he talked. And his talk is about 16 minutes long. So I just would love to hear what else was said that day and with all the people that were there. So this is just for your information as we celebrate Martin Luther King today. Okay, so the daily word, well, we're not going to the daily word. We're going to do the prayer for protection first. So if you know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. If you do not know the words, for those of you online, there will be the words for you in front of you. Let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. And as we're sitting in prayer today, allowing us to open our minds and our hearts and our availability to the dreams that we have in our minds and in our consciousness, the dreams that we have at night, the daydreams that we have during the day, the hopes, the faith that we have that tomorrow will be different and more expansive and more exciting than it was today. During our Whitestone ceremony today, we have the opportunity to dream, to create the whole entire year with a word or a phrase. It's bringing that to our consciousness, bringing it to fruition, allowing it to go from our minds to a physical space. Oh, this is such a good time of year, a time to create. And what if we took this time to create each and every day of the year? What if we got up every morning and thought, this is a good time to create? Every day is a new beginning. It's like every year is a new beginning. And so every year we take this time during the Whitestone ceremony to remember what it is we would like and dream of and create the world we would like to create. Also today we are bringing into our consciousness the memory of the work of Martin Luther King, knowing his influence still 60 years later after the March on Washington. He is still with us. Each and every year as we celebrate his birthday, each and every year when people come together to listen, talk about, and to share his story. And we're so honored. I am so honored to be part of a time where we can still remember him. We can still hear his voice. And we are still inspired by his work. We're so grateful for our time together, grateful for this opportunity, grateful for what we will experience over the next hour and into the coming day. And most importantly, we are grateful for the friends that are here with us, the friends that help celebrate with us, and those friends that will help support us during the week. Take a breath, allowing your body to relax, to allow what needs to be heard to be heard. And so it is. Amen. All right. I'm going to have Stephan come back with another song, and then we're going to go into our affirmation and reading.
I'm going to do this song partly a cappella, so I'm going to ask you for your help. So if you could just give me a tempo here of and just feel it in your heart. There is a longing in the heart. There is a hunger in the soul. A thirst that can't be satisfied. And deep inside you know you long for something that is much more than everything that's in your world. Life is a dream and heaven's reality, and I'm caught in between. And though it seems this world has everything, it's never more than a dream, 'cause life is a dream and heaven's reality, And if we just hold on, then we will wake up to the face of God. 'Cause life is a dream and heaven's reality, and I'm caught in between. And though it seems this world has everything, it's never more than a dream. 'Cause life is a dream and heaven's reality. And if we just hold on, yeah, hold on, then we will wake up to the face of God. We will wake up. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful song. Thank you. Wow. Anointed. Thank you. Wow. That song was absolutely perfect for our affirmation for today. Our affirmation, I dream a dream of great possibilities. So let's say that together. I dream a dream of great possibilities. And our word for today, our daily word, is dream. It's from November 6, 1995. How many of us remember sitting in class listening to a teacher reprimand a student for daydreaming? Perhaps one of us was that student. But now we understand that dreams are the beginning of great possibilities. So let's know it's okay to let our minds wander for a moment. Let's dream about the way God's world can be. Every heart is filled with gladness, every person peaceful and serene. Sounds of joy and laughter fill the air. The beauty and wonder of God's presence flourish, and everyone experiences the peace that comes from understanding. This is the dream of the faithful, a dream that will someday be realized when all of us make a commitment to do it. It will be reality someday, so let's make it today. And our spiritual lesson for today is from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and he said, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. So today, as I said earlier, is a dual celebration. Today we are celebrating Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy, and we are also going to take our own dreams and create our own experiences in 2024 with the White Stone ceremony. And like King, who had a dream, we will also use our dreams to create a better reality for us and everyone around us by going through the White Stone ceremony. We continue to fight for everything in the world. We continue to be the lights of the world here at Unity. We know that we are the divine expression here in the world, and we try to live out the ideas of justice, equity, and equality in our lives and with the people that we meet. Some of us, we volunteer to help those that are less fortunate than us. Some of us work towards social justice and equity. Others of us educate and inform and try to keep spreading the message of what peace and equality would look like. We are all doing our best within this world to create a better world, and we are trying to create a better place for everyone in it. And so here at Unity, it's important for us to take the time to represent Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King today, but also to celebrate his legacy. When we think of Dr. King, and many of us remember his work, the work that he did for the civil rights movement, and we also know about his sacrifices, the sacrifice he and his family made to get that accomplished. And we still mourn his loss today. We often hear about his speeches. Some of us weren't old enough to, weren't even alive then. Some of us were still very young. Others of us do remember that time where there were lots of things that he said and did and that we heard about. But the March on Washington, which happened in 1963, was over 60 years ago. That's a long time. It seems like forever. But the interesting thing about technology is that we're able to take that little piece of time and to be able to bring it forward. Many of us have not heard or have not heard the speech, the I Have a Dream speech in its entirety. Some people have heard parts of it, and then there's still some others have heard the entire thing. Most of the time, they just use specific bits and pieces of it, but we don't get to hear it, the whole thing. But again, technology has allowed us to bring him forward, to bring him into the room today. And so we will be hearing that speech today in the entirety. I will not be reading it. We will be hearing it with his own voice. And today we will hear Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King do the I Have a Dream speech. So I would like you to take this moment, because it's about 16 minutes long. And just take this moment, close your eyes if you're so drawn to do so, and just settle in and listen to a man who was so influential, so inspiring, that today we still celebrate him. Now, I want to warn you, for those of you who have not heard the speech, there is language in there that may be offensive to some people because language was different at that time. Words that we might find offensive today were not offensive at that time, or were used in different ways. So if you hear a word that seems uncomfortable, it's okay. I understand it is an uncomfortable word here today, but it also is something that they used quite often at that time period. So I just want to warn you that that's going to be there. So sit back, imagine, and dream, and be part of the crowd at the March on Washington on that day with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King as we hear his voice, I Have a Dream speech.
Here to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, The Negro has still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hoped that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our body is heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last."
There isn't much more than I can say. He said it all. It is 2024. It has been over 60 years. And we still see that we have a lot to do. A lot farther to go than what we currently are. It is a 2024. It is a year to vote. And I implore you to do so we can continue to make change. And I don't have to sit here and be in tears because of something that hasn't occurred completely yet. We have hope. We have his words to hang on. But when we hear those words today, we realize that things haven't changed that much. So we have more work to do. And as we go into meditation in a moment, I'd just like you to hang on to that rock of hope that he was talking about and mentioning, just allowing yourself to get into that space of having dreams for yourself, to be able to create the world that we want to see. I'm going to invite Stephan to come back with another song, and then we're going to go into meditation and our white stone ceremony, and I want to thank you for listening to his words.
Sleep, sleep tonight, and may your dreams be realized. And if a thundercloud passes rain, so let it rain, rain down on me. Oh, so let it be. Sleep, sleep tonight, and may your dreams be realized. And if a thundercloud passes rain, so let it rain down on me. Oh, so let it be. Oh, so let it be. So let it be. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more crying, no more crying, no more dying over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. I'll go home to my Lord and be free. I'll go home to my Lord and be free. I'll go home to my Lord. Freedom, oh freedom, oh freedom, oh freedom, 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 freedom.
Dream for all. And I want to make sure that you take this moment. Take this moment to take a breath. And if you have your white stone, I would have you pick it up and put it in your hand. If you did not have your white stone, if you haven't picked one up yet, they're on the back table. And just hold on to it in your hand. The rock of hope, the rock of faith, the idea that things will be better than they were yesterday. It is a symbol of that change, symbol of your growth, symbol of where you want to be. And just sit with that and infusing that rock with the energy of your hopes, the energy of your dreams. And as you take another breath, allow the energy from the rock to infuse you, allowing you to let it move through you, knowing that you create and be with all of the objects that are in your life. For what is ethereal, the ideas in the mind are now channeled into the physical of the rock and the inscription that you put on it. So take a moment, just think about it, and allow it to be. And we'll go into silence while you do that. So many possibilities, so much potential in this moment, from this time, the energy we are creating, remembering what it is we no longer want in our lives and allowing us to move forward with what we do want. And this stone represents those changes that you want to make, those things that you want to see. And just hold on to the words, the phrases, the ideas that you would like to inscribe on your rock. And I'm going to take you into the white stone ceremony. You can open your eyes if you'd like, or you can still stay in meditation. This ceremony is symbolic. It's a ritual that we use to be able to create a new beginning. And during the ceremony, we use this small white stone that we've been given. This white stone is seen as a symbol of a new beginning. And it's a clean slate. In some traditions, the white stone represents purity and the opportunity for a fresh start. In ancient Greece and Roman practices, the use of white stones had many different meanings, but one most notable is for judicial purposes, for justice and democracy. In ancient times, for instance, jurors used white and black stones to cast their votes. A white stone typically indicated a favorable outcome or a yes. The black stone was usually a conviction or a no. These systems allowed for the confidentiality of the vote. Sometimes the white stones were used as divination, the ability to bring up what it is that you would like, allowing you to create your future through the use of casting stones. In the book of Revelation, it states in Revelation 2:17, "He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. To the one who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, the ideas, and I will give him a white stone and a new name written on the stone that no one knows except the one who receives it." The meaning of the white stone is as vast and diverse as the people in this room. For you, it could mean victory. It could mean reward. It could mean forgiveness. It could mean that you have a new identity, that there's new possibility, a new beginning, or you're reconnecting with your divine source. Whatever it is absolutely perfect for you. So today, the white stone itself becomes your reality, becomes a representation of who you want to be. So I'd like to take some time, again, grabbing your stone and putting it in your hand. And we want to invoke the power of transformation, inviting clarity and courage and wisdom to guide our path throughout the year. And as we hold this white stone in our hands, we affirm, upon this stone I inscribe my intentions, carving the dreams that stir within my soul. With each stroke, I embrace the promise of a new beginning, a blank canvas awaiting the hues of my destiny. And may this white stone be a beacon of light, illuminating the shadows that linger in the corner of our hearts and in this world. In the name of growth, I release the old burdens and let go of what no longer serves my highest good. And as the white stone signifies purity, may my intentions be pure and my actions aligned with the highest truths of my being. In the tapestry of time, may this moment be etched as a turning point, a chapter where my journey unfolds with purpose. And with gratitude, we accept the gift of a fresh start, an opportunity to co-create our realities and to do that with the universe and source. And as we carry our white stones forward into the world, may we be reminded of the resilience within the symbol, this ritual that we create, our boundless possibility and potential, and allow it to reside in the depths of our spirits. And so it is. Amen. If you haven't done so, I'd like you to take the time to inscribe or to write on your stone the word or the phrase that is calling you forward today. And as we do that, I'm going to invite Stephan to come back to sing another song. And then we'll come back for a special treat.
We are here together. We are here together. We are here together. I believe we are all as one. Exotic life streaming up toward the sun. There will never be a separation very long. The veil is gone. We are home, we are home, we are home. And we are one together. We are one together. We are one together. We are one together. And we are here together. We are here together.
Thank you. Absolutely perfect. Are you hearing me okay? I think so. Yeah. Okay. I will speak louder. How about that? Okay. It's not on? It is on, but it's not on? How about that if I pull it forward to my face? Okay. I'm always afraid I'm going to sound like Darth Vader when it gets too close to my face and I get this breathing into the thing. Okay, got it. I do. Thank you so much. So I need to have Stephan here all the time so she can tell me how fabulous I am. And I will tell her how fabulous she is, and then we'll just go about our lives knowing that we are fabulous.
And we'll just spread it all out.
That's right. That's right. All right. I would like to go into the portion of the offering, and we're going to have a shorter offering portion. I just wanted to thank you for all of the gifts that you bring to Unity of Tacoma. All the love offerings that you give to us. You can, if you have a love offering today, you can put it in the prosperity box if you're here today. If you're online, you can go to our website at unityoftacoma.org /donate, and you can give there. You can go to all of the different platforms. We have Facebook. You can go to Zelle. You can go all the different places, and we're so grateful for each and every one of you for all the things that you bring to us, not only your presence and your talent and your time that you give to us, but also your treasures. So we're so grateful for each and every one of you. Without you, we wouldn't have people like Stephan here, or we wouldn't be able to do the music, the different ministries that we do in the outreach programs. And so each and every Sunday when you're here with us, you enlighten us and bring us something wonderful. And so thank you for being here. We're so grateful for you. All right, so we have a special treat. We have the Unity of Tacoma players are going to come up and grace us with something special.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for brand new beats? Summer's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the streets. We're dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, up in New York City, and way over at Tacoma Unity. Doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every girl, everywhere.
having so much fun. Welcome to the new year. So this brilliant, scathingly brilliant idea was conceived on the phone with my sister in Illinois and I. And she's the one that got our costumes for us as well. So what inspired this whole thing? Well, it was the week of December 31st when we did that round graph thing about what we wanted to do for the future in 2024. And I was so inspired by that. And we did the part on the other side of the sheet also, where we talked about how we were going to get there and what we were going to do and all that. And it came to me that for myself, the words I'm going to use this year instead of pivoting from 2023 is called skinny down. And skinny down means purge to me. But in traditional forms in January, everybody's talking about losing weight and getting skinny. Well, that would be on my list too, but it's not going to be anything dramatic. It's going to be a gradual approach like I've been doing all along. So skinny down, purge. So that means for me personally that I'm going to be purging the clutter in my house. I'm going to be purging the clutter in my mind. I'm going to be purging what doesn't fit for me anymore. Maybe never did. It's going to be cleared. Part of that manifestation is going to come in my home, which right now after COVID is kind of a storage center. It's going to be a home again. It's going to be a place where I can have fun. It's a place where I can truly relax. It's a place where I can have my friends over and we can have a cup of coffee. So I have made some notes. So the final part of, I was working on the burning bowl and the white stone at the same time. And the bottom word for me for this coming year is grateful. So I am so incredibly grateful for my support system, my physical and mental ability to accomplish my goals, my prosperity, my sense of humor, which I hope you weren't offended, my can-do mentality, and being surrounded by love. That's what I see for this coming year. Now, Lori mentioned when she was talking about Dr. King about the words that were used back in those days. And yes, I picked out some of those words. I also picked out a word that wasn't mentioned. And that word was woman or women. Women were not part of that speech. But I remember questioning my mother about that and saying that just doesn't seem right. It's not including us. And she said, well, in the English language, man is common man. So common man means all people. And that's what it meant in those days. Well, I was watching the Drew Barrymore show this week, and a new word has slammed into our dictionary. The word is Riz. And I'm going to spell it R-I-Z-Z. She didn't spell it, but it's Riz. And it comes from the word charisma. So when you're talking to someone and they exude charisma, like Martin Luther King for one, he had a lot of riz. If someone's looking really sharp today, they got a lot of riz. So riz is another new word in our English. It actually hit the dictionary as a new word. So I look forward to all the fun things that we're going to do in Unity of Tacoma this year. I'm looking forward to all of the manifestations that everybody's going to be working on and achieving in this year. And part of that is we're going to be continuing our sandwich making for the unhomed in Tacoma. And our next one will be the first Saturday of February, which is February 3rd. at 11 o'clock here at the Surge Building. Next Sunday, the 21st, our musical guests are Dallas Talley and Linda Small. Mark your calendars for Sunday, February 4th. After the message, we'll be having our annual meeting. For those members who aren't able to attend, we will create a Zoom meeting so you can participate. And that would be you, Debbie, my sister, out there in Illinois. And any of your friends who want to come too. Our new website is up and running. Check it out for yourself. Also, Reverend Lori's email is temporarily out of commission due to the new website, but that'll get fixed soon. We will have another watercolor painting class with our champion, Denise Demos, on Saturday, February 10th. So mark your calendars, and that will be at what time? 11:30 to 1:30 on February 10th. Details will follow, and we're going to be painting Valentine cards. I also want to say that my companion in crime today was Karen Noyes. We've been friends for over 30 years, most of that in unity. And I hope that we'll be joined by many more happy spirits in our theatrical endeavors. And Stephan, thank you so much for doing our music and playing with our tempo. We had to ask her to slow it down a little bit because we couldn't kick so high as we used to. So wishing you all a wonderful 2024.
I can stay here. All right. I want to thank them. Give them a round of applause for dancing in the street, or at least in the foyer or wherever we are. All right. I want to end the service with the benediction. The benediction is by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it reads, "O God, we thank you for the fact that you have inspired men and women in all nations and in all cultures. We call you different names. Some call you Allah. Some call you Elohim. Some call you Jehovah. Some call you Brahma. Some call you the unmoved mover. But we know that these are all names for the one and the same God. Grant that we will follow you and become so committed to your way and your kingdom that we will be able to establish in our lives and in this world a brother and sisterhood, that we will be able to establish here a kingdom of understanding where men and women will live together as brothers and sisters and respect the dignity and worth of every human being. In the name and spirit of Jesus, amen. I want to thank you so much for joining us on this special day that we did all of the wonderful things with the White Stone and hearing Dr. King's voice. And now Stephan is going to take us out with our peace song. So if you can stand, please do so and sing along with us. For those of you online, the words will be on the screen.
Let this be the moment.